Chapter 3150. Lu Ming destroyed Lan Ling's attack and defense with the Gate of Domination. A powerful force fell on Lan Ling's body. Of course, Lu Ming controlled the power of the Gate of Domination and did not suppress it with full force. The power of the Gate of Domination only caused Lan Ling to feel numb all over. She could not exert any strength and fell to the ground. Swoosh! Lu Ming cast the Nine Heavens Kuan Peng technique. In a flash, he held Lan Ling in his hands. "What are you doing? Let me go!" Lan Ling cried out. Her eyes were filled with fear. Tears welled up in her eyes. She was on the verge of tears. She really wanted to cry. She had finally broken through to the Divine King realm and her strength had increased greatly. She thought she could finally suppress Lu Ming and take revenge. She had never thought that Lu Ming would awaken the secret art of origin. His strength had increased tremendously. She couldn't withstand a single blow. She felt wronged and helpless. She wanted to cry. Could Lu Ming really suppress her? "What am I doing? Of course I'm teaching you a lesson." Lu Ming curled his lips and then slapped Lan Ling on a certain part of her body. Pa! A crisp sound echoed throughout the purple bamboo forest. In an instant, Lan Ling's face and neck turned red. Her eyes were filled with shame and anger. Dad, this pervert is bullying your daughter. Come and help me, Dad," Lan Ling shouted and wanted to ask Blue Merchant to help her. In the courtyard, Blue Merchant sat cross-legged and murmured, "I'm in seclusion. I can't hear you. I'm in seclusion. I can't hear you." If Lan Ling saw this scene, she would probably vomit blood. In the purple bamboo forest, Lu Ming grinned. "Scream. No one will care about you. Admit defeat and apologize. If you obey me in the future, I'll let you go. Don't even think about it." Lan Ling glared at Lu Ming. "Pa." Lu Ming's palm slapped down. Lan Ling's delicate body trembled, her face flushed red, and she gritted her teeth without saying a word. Lu Ming slapped her several times, but Lan Ling was still glaring at Lu Ming. Lu Ming was speechless. This girl was really stubborn. That's all for today. Remember, if there's a next time, it won't be this kind of lesson, hey? As he spoke, Lu Ming's gaze swept over Lan Ling's body a few times, making Lan Ling's body tense up. Then, he flung Lan Ling away. Lu Ming's body soared into the sky and quickly flew away. His voice rang out, "Uncle Lan Shu, Lu Ming will come and seek guidance another day." As his voice faded, Lu Ming was already far away. Sigh, what is Ling thinking? Lu Ming is so outstanding. Why doesn't she like him? Blue Merchant muttered. In the next moment, Lan Ling rushed over angrily, glaring at Blue Merchant. "Father, why didn't you help me just now?" Lan Ling questioned. "Ling you know that your father's star core is destroyed. I'm old and my hearing is bad. I can't hear you." Blue Merchant sighed. It can help people awaken the origin source secret technique. Then there's no need. Autumn Moon rolled her eyes and said, "No need." Lu Ming was surprised. What did she mean? "Because I've already awakened the origin source secret technique." Autumn Moon smiled. What? Lu Ming was tongue-tied and was about to be stunned. Autumn Moon had awakened the origin source secret technique. It couldn't be, right? She had broken through to the Divine King realm and awakened the origin source secret technique. "Young master, look." After saying that, Autumn Moon activated her sovereign divine power. Her body emitted a purplish gold light. Then, an ancient scimitar appeared above her head. This scimitar looked like it was made of stone. It was engraved with the marks of time, and it was filled with an ancient aura. Origin source secret technique. It's really the origin source secret technique. Lu Ming couldn't help but widen his eyes. He had already awakened the Gate of Domination. There was no way he would be wrong. This was the origin source secret technique. Different people with the same type of divine grade divine power could awaken different secret arts of origin. Those who didn't control the sovereign divine power could awaken the Gate of Domination or other origin source secret techniques. My origin source secret technique is called the Blade of Domination, Autumn Moon explained. Amazing, Amazing, Lu Ming didn't know how to describe his feelings. He had worked so hard and narrowly escaped death to awaken his origin's secret magic in the midst of fierce battles. Autumn Moon had only gone into seclusion. Not only had she broken through to the Divine King realm, but she had also awakened the origin source secret technique. Of course, the stronger Autumn Moon was, the happier Lu Ming was. Young master, Autumn Moon can help you now, right? Autumn Moon was also very happy. Of course. Lu Ming nodded. With Autumn Moon's current strength, he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to defeat Autumn Moon. He controlled many types of divine powers. Autumn Moon also controlled many types of divine powers. His advantages were the battle formula, the measure formula, and the ancient god body. However, Autumn Moon had the god-killing light. With her cultivation of the first heaven of the Divine King realm and the blade of domination, her fighting strength would definitely be terrifying. Chapter 3151. By the way, Autumn Moon, how did you awaken the origin source secret technique so quickly? Lu Ming asked curiously. I don't know either. I inherited the inheritance of the Divine I Lord of Heaven. When I broke through to the Divine Crystal Realm, it seemed like the experience of awakening the origin source secret technique would appear in my mind. Then, I naturally awakened it. Autumn Moon said. Lu Ming nodded. Autumn Moon originally had the 9 orifices sacred heart, and her talent was shocking. Coupled with the experience of the Divine I Lord of Heaven, it was normal for her to awaken the origin source secret technique. One had to know that the Divine I Lord of Heaven was a giant in the heavenly palace. In the entire primitive universe, he was a peak expert, an overlord. This was the benefit of obtaining the inheritance of an unparalleled expert. No one else could compare. Young master, you should keep the divine power source bead. You still have other divine powers that you can use, Autumn Moon said. All right then. You just broke through, so you should consolidate your cultivation, Lu Ming said. The two chatted for a while more before returning to their rooms. Lu Ming returned to his room and played with the divine power source bead in his hand. After pondering for a while, Lu Ming kept the divine power source bead. He didn't plan to use it now. Now, other than the sovereign's divine power, as long as he awakened the origin source secret technique with the undying sword force, he could only awaken the undying sword force's origin source secret technique with the divine power source bead. However, Lu Ming didn't use a sword, but a spear. Awakening the origin source secret technique of the undying sword force wouldn't be of much help to Lu Ming. Lu Ming wanted to use the divine power source bead on the Overlord Spear Force after awakening the origin source secret technique of the Overlord Spear Force. This would give Lu Ming the greatest improvement. Moreover, the Sovereign's Gate was enough for Lu Ming now. His current level of cultivation was still low, but he was already unable to control a single type of Chief Sovereign's Gate. Even if he were to awaken another quintessence technique, he wouldn't have enough divine power to use it. He might as well keep the godly power source bead for later use. Lu Ming continued to cultivate in seclusion. Time passed quickly, and 20 years passed in the blink of an eye. Cultivating like this is too slow. Lu Ming frowned. What he wasn't satisfied with was the increase in his cultivation base. Although the quantifying character formula was constantly refining the stellar core, he had mastered 10 types of divine powers. Even with the constant replenishment of energy from the stellar core, the progress of his cultivation base was still very slow. There's only one way to improve my cultivation base quickly, and that's to find treasures of extreme cold to speed up the refinement of the stellar core, Lu Ming pondered. No matter what, cultivation was the foundation. As long as his cultivation increased, the power of his other divine skills and secret arts would also grow stronger. The day of the Taishu imperial family's sacred institute was getting closer and closer, but his cultivation base was too low. He was only a level 7 heavenly god, which was nothing in the vast Taishu dynasty. He had to increase his cultivation base quickly, and it would be best if he could break through to level 8 or level 9 heavenly god before the sacred institute of the Taishu imperial family opened. I'll go ask Zifeng and the others where I can buy treasures of extreme cold in the Juju Heavenly King residence, Lu Ming pondered. With that thought, Lu Ming left the starry camp and secretly went to the Wu family. When he arrived at the Wu family, he successfully met with Wu Zifeng. "You want to buy treasures of extreme cold?" Wu Zifeng frowned and pondered. A moment later, his eyes lit up and he said, "Brother Lu, if you want to buy treasures of extreme cold, there's a chance soon. In the Heavenly King district, the large-scale auction that happens once every 10,000 years is about to begin. There might be treasures of extreme cold at the auction." Auction? Lu Ming was startled. That's right. The auction is held by the Juju Heavenly King residence once every 10,000 years. When the time comes, there will be all kinds of treasures, including extreme cold treasures, Wu Zifeng said. When will it be held? Lu Ming's interest was piqued. 10 days later, Brother Lu can stay at the Wu family's residence. We'll go together then, Wu Zifeng said. All right. Lu Ming nodded and stayed at the Wu family's residence. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. This time, many people from the Wu family were heading to the Heavenly King district, including some powerful existences. Lu Ming and Wu Zifeng followed the Wu family's experts to the Heavenly King district. The Heavenly King district was still bustling with activity. They strolled around the Heavenly King district, and when the auction began, they headed to the auction. The auction was huge, and it was crowded with people. At a glance, there were at least a few 100,000 people. The Wu family was a big family, so they naturally had a special VIP room. They waited quietly in the VIP room. Soon, the auction officially began. The auctioneer let people take out the treasures one by one. This auction was worthy of being the biggest auction in the Juju Heavenly King residence. There were too many treasures. Many treasures made Lu Ming extremely excited. Even if many high-level divine kings participated in the bidding, Lu Ming could only stare at the prices. After half a day, Lu Ming did not buy a single treasure. It was mainly the low-grade treasures that Lu Ming did not care about. As for the high-grade treasures, a bunch of divine kings were competing for them, and he could not intervene. However, the Wu family's experts bought a few good treasures after a few rounds. The next treasure is called the mysterious cold ice lotus seed. It's an extreme cold treasure. Those who want to buy an extreme cold treasure, hurry up and make your move. The auctioneer took out a jade box. After opening the jade box, there were dozens of lotus seeds neatly arranged in it. A total of 36 mysterious cold ice lotus seeds. The starting price is 360,000 high-grade divine crystals. Each bid must not be lower than 20,000 high-grade divine crystals. Let's begin, the auctioneer called out. As soon as the auctioneer's voice fell, someone started to bid. 380,000 high-grade divine crystals. 400,000 high-grade divine crystals. The price rose steadily, and soon, it reached 500,000 high-grade divine crystals. 30 mysterious cold ice lotus seed. Lu Ming's eyes lit up, and he was extremely excited. He decided to buy it. It would definitely be useful for him to refine the star core of a star. Fortunately, although the mysterious cold ice lotus seed was precious, it was not of much use to high-level divine kings. Hence, there were no high-level divine kings competing for it. It was not impossible for Lu Ming to buy it. During this period of time, he had killed many strong enemies. The number of high-grade divine crystals he had on him was at least a few million. 800,000 high-grade divine crystals, Lu Ming said directly, and pushed the price to 800,000 high-grade divine crystals. The place fell silent. Adding so many high-grade divine crystals in one go showed that Lu Ming was determined to get it. Many people started to hesitate if they should increase the price. 1 million. After a while, someone said, 1,200,000. Lu Ming followed suit and spoke. Then, that person fell silent. The auctioneer asked a few questions, but no one made a bid. The mysterious cold ice lotus seed was successfully bought by Lu Ming for 1,200,000 high-grade divine crystals. Soon, the payment was made. 36 mysterious cold ice lotus seeds fell into Lu Ming's hands. Chapter 3152. After buying 36 mysterious cold ice lotus seeds, Lu Ming had a smile on his face. This trip was not in vain. 36 mysterious cold ice lotus seeds might be able to help him refine a large amount of stellar cores and improve his cultivation. However, some people were discussing in secret. That voice was so familiar. I think I heard it somewhere before. It's Lu Ming. I think it's Lu Ming's voice. It's him. I didn't hear it wrongly. He's a heavenly god, yet he's so rich. Some people were discussing. Lu Ming. In the auction, a few young men's eyes flickered. The auction continued. Lu Ming didn't make any moves in the following auction because the prices of many treasures were too high. He couldn't make a move even if he wanted to. He only made a few moves when the auction ended. He bought a few cold attributed treasures, but their quality couldn't be compared to the mysterious cold ice lotus seeds. After the auction ended, everyone left the auction house. Lu Ming still followed the Wu family. He planned to return to the Wu family first before returning to the Starry Sky camp. However, when they were walking on the street, they were blocked by a group of people. Jin family, what are you trying to do? Wu Zifeng said coldly. Blocking in front of them was a group of people wearing golden robes. With one look, one could tell that they were from the Jin family. I'm looking for Lu Ming for something. A young man stepped out from the Jin family. He had a majestic gait and an extraordinary temperament. Looking for me? Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. Brother Jin, you're really fast. At this moment, another group of people came from another direction. The leader was also a young man with an extraordinary temperament. This newcomer had wings on his back. He was from the winged person family. Brother Yi. The leader of the Jin family smiled. The Jin family and the winged person family blocked in front of the Wu family. This scene attracted the attention of the surrounding people. It's the Jin family and the winged person family. Why are they blocking the Wu family? Are they going to fight? That's Lu Ming. Lu Ming is with the Wu family. Could their target be Lu Ming? Many people secretly discussed. Why are you looking for me? Fight. Sorry, I'm not free. Lu Ming said. I won't fight today, but I'll make a deal with you. The Jin family young man smiled. He stared at Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, you've already awakened your origin secret technique. The divine power source bead is useless to you. Why don't you sell it to me? Name your price. Sell it to me, the price is negotiable. After that, the young man from the Wing clan spoke as well. Lu Ming suddenly understood that the other party was coveting the God power source bead. Lu Ming glanced at the young man from the Jin family and the young man from the Wings family. He could feel that these two young men had powerful auras. Their cultivation bases were probably above the first king god layer. That was why they hadn't participated in the competition for the divine power source bead. The date of the Great Void Imperial Academy's opening was getting closer and closer. Everyone was focused on improving their strength. Awakening their origin secret technique would undoubtedly increase their strength. That was why they were coveting Lu Ming's God power source bead. Since Lu Ming had already awakened his origin secret technique, they concluded that Lu Ming's God power source bead had not been used yet. I'm not selling it. Lu Ming said coldly. You're not selling it. Lu Ming, since you've already awakened your origin secret technique, the God power source bead is useless to you. Why don't you sell it? That's the only way to show its value. The young man from the Jin family said coldly. That's right. The young man from the Wings family also said coldly. Even if it's worthless, why should I sell it? Also, even if I want to sell it, why should I sell it to the Jin family? The Wings family? How shameless are you? Are you more shameless than the Nine Sabers' heavenly king? Lu Ming retorted, full of sarcasm. Back then, the Nine Sabers' heavenly king wanted to buy the God power source bead, but Lu Ming refused to sell it. Yet, they wanted to buy it. What a joke. Moreover, the Jin family and the Wings family had a life-and-death feud with Lu Ming. Why would Lu Ming sell it to them? You, the young man from the Jin family, had an ugly expression. Lu Ming, don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. The young man from the Wings family said coldly. Why? You still want to force a sale? The heavenly king said that the God power source bead belongs to me now that I've obtained it. Are you going to defy the heavenly king's order? Lu Ming sneered. The people from the Jin family and the Wings family had ugly expressions. With so many people present, they did not dare to touch Lu Ming. The Nine Sabers' Heavenly King had said that whoever dared to snatch Lu Ming's God Power Source Bead would be going against him. In the Nine Sabers' Heavenly King residence, who would dare to go against the Nine Sabers' Heavenly King? Lu Ming, if you keep the God Power Source Bead and don't use it yourself, wouldn't it be a waste? Why don't you give it to the other Sky Prides of the Nine Sabers' Heavenly King residence? This way, when the Great Void Imperial Family Holy Court convenes, the Nine Sabers' Heavenly King residence will be stronger and raise their heads in front of the other Heavenly King residences, getting rid of the title of last place. The young man from the Jin family said loudly. These words made many people around them ponder. As the Nine Sabers' Heavenly King residence was developed later, they did not have a strong foundation. Among the 27 Heavenly King residences, they had always been the last. The second last was the Nine Sabers' Heavenly King residence. The Nine Sabers' Heavenly King residence had always been suppressed by the other Heavenly King residences. When the Great Void Imperial Family Holy Court was convened, it was actually a competition between the various Heavenly King residences. The more geniuses there were, the stronger they were, and naturally, the more famous they would be. There would also be more experts joining, and the strength of the Heavenly King residence would naturally become stronger. And a divine power source bead could definitely create a terrifying genius. Although Lu Ming had awakened the origin source secret technique, his cultivation was too low. No one thought that Lu Ming would be able to achieve anything on the day of the Great Void Imperial Family Holy Court's opening. However, if the divine power source bead was given to a second-layer divine king realm or even stronger genius, then a terrifying genius would appear. On the day of the Great Void Imperial Family Holy Court's opening, the Nine Sabers' Heavenly King residence would also be able to hold their heads high. The young man from the Jin family wanted to push Lu Ming out. Even if they couldn't get it, they wanted Lu Ming to sell the divine power source bead to others. If Lu Ming didn't sell it, it meant that he didn't care about the reputation of the Nine Sabers' Heavenly King residence. In this way, they could push Lu Ming to the opposite side of the other aristocratic families, and make the other aristocratic families have a bad impression of Lu Ming. What a vicious scheme. However, would Lu Ming care about this? Get lost. Lu Ming scolded coldly. What? What did you say? The young man from the Jin family was enraged. I told you to get lost. Didn't you hear me? Lu Ming said coldly. Lu Ming, so you don't want to sell the divine power source bead at all? You're too selfish. You don't care about the reputation of the Heavenly King residence. You're still cultivating in the starry camp. The Heavenly King residence has nurtured you, and this is how you repay them. The young man from the Jin family said loudly, continuing to accuse Lu Ming. On the day of the Great Void Imperial Family Holy Court's opening, I will let the Heavenly King residence rise. We won't be suppressed by the other Heavenly King residences, Lu Ming said indifferently. You. Ha ha ha. You. Who do you think you are? Although you're talented, your cultivation is trash. You're nothing in front of the true geniuses, the young man from the Jin family sneered. Chapter 3153. It's just a wild dog barking. Ziffeng, let's go, Lu Ming said indifferently. He then stepped into the air and walked away. He could not be bothered with the people from Jin family and Winged Man family. It was useless to say anything now. He would prove it with his actions when the time came. What did you say? Damn it. The young man from Jin family roared. His face was extremely gloomy. He wanted to slap Lu Ming to death. However, he did not dare to attack Lu Ming now. If he attacked Lu Ming now, the Nine Extinction Heavenly King would not let him go. No matter how angry he was, he could only watch as Lu Ming left. You can be arrogant now. One day, I'll make sure you die without a burial place. The young men from Jin family and Winged Man family cursed in their hearts. Lu Ming returned to Wu family with Wu Ziffeng and the rest before secretly returning to the starry camp. Old Liang, can these mysterious cold ice lotus seeds speed up the refinement of the stellar core? In the room, Lu Ming communicated with measure formula. Don't worry. I can integrate a portion of them. It's enough for you to reach level 8 Heavenly God, Measure Formula said. That's good. You can absorb these mysterious cold ice lotus seed. Lu Ming let Measure Formula devour the 36 mysterious cold ice lotus seeds. He then focused on comprehending various divine skills and secret skills while waiting for Measure Formula to refine the energy. With the mysterious cold ice lotus seeds neutralizing the energy of the stellar core, Measure Formula's refinement speed skyrocketed. In just 3 years, it had refined a large amount of energy. Lu Ming continued to absorb the energy and turned it into his own divine power. He then began to break through to level 8 Heavenly God. After a few days of cultivation, Lu Ming's body exploded with a powerful aura. It was the aura of a level 8 Heavenly God. Lu Ming's cultivation base broke through another level and reached level 8 Heavenly God. The simultaneous breakthrough of 10 types of divine power made Lu Ming's divine power much stronger. Lu Ming had a much easier time using all sorts of divine abilities and secret arts, especially the quintessence secret art, the Sovereign's Gate. As a result, Lu Ming's power increased. Unfortunately, the energy neutralized by the mysterious cold ice lotus seed has been used up. Next, I'll have to rely on myself to slowly cultivate. Lu Ming sighed. Compared to the others, his speed of improvement was already astonishing, but he was still not satisfied. What he wanted to do was too difficult. 180 years later, when the Great Void Imperial Academy was held, he had to enter the top 10. Even if he broke through to the 8th layer Celestial God Realm, he had no hope. Now, he could only do his best and take things one step at a time. Lu Ming closed his eyes and continued to cultivate. At the Blue Merchant's residence, there was an uninvited guest. A young man in luxurious robes with his hands clasped behind his back, and an extraordinary aura descended upon Blue Merchant's residence. The young man was not a disciple of the Starry Platoon. Normally, those who were not a disciple of the Starry Platoon would have trouble entering the platoon, but no one stopped him from entering. In the residence, Blue Merchant frowned at the man and said coldly, "What are you doing here?" "Third uncle, how have you been?" The young man said with a smile. "Don't call me third uncle, you've already chased me out of the Lan clan and cut off all ties with me. I'm no longer your third uncle." Blue Merchant said calmly, but his voice was filled with disdain. The young man smiled and said indifferently, "In my heart, you will always be my third uncle. There's no need for such hypocrisy. Tell me, why are you here at the 9 Extinction Heavenly Emperor Palace instead of staying in the great illusionary sacred capital? I don't believe you're here just to see me," Blue Merchant said coldly. The young man was called Lan Feng and Blue Merchant knew his character well. Lan Feng looked gentle on the surface, but he was cunning and vicious on the inside. "Third uncle is right. I didn't come here just to see you. I came to the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion for 2 matters. One of them is related to Lan Ling." Blue Maple smiled faintly. He did not show any respect to Blue Mountain, his third uncle. "Related to Ling Er? What's the matter?" Blue Merchant's eyes narrowed and he had a bad feeling about this. "Third uncle, do you still remember that you brought cousin Lan Ling to the holy capital 300 years ago? Blue Maple paused for a moment before continuing with a smile. "Cousin Lan Ling is a national beauty. The moment she arrived at the holy capital, she startled all the young geniuses there. How many people have fallen head over heels for her? Among them, the son of the imperial tutor, Wu Fan, is a peerless genius. All these years, he has never forgotten about cousin Lan Ling. Even the imperial tutor personally went to the Lan family to propose marriage. The Lan family has agreed to betroth cousin Lan Ling to Wu Fan. One of the reasons I'm here is to bring cousin Lan Ling back to the holy capital and marry Wu Fan." Boom. After hearing what Lan Feng had said, a violent aura exploded from Blue Merchant's body. His glabella shone and a terrifying spiritual energy swept towards Lan Feng like a gust of wind, forcing Lan Feng to take a few steps back. "You want Lan Ling to marry Wu Fan? Impossible." Blue Merchant's hair stood on end and his eyes were burning with anger. He was like a mad lion. He was indeed furious. Back then, he was Jingyu's teacher and the peerless genius of the Lan family. He was hailed as the future of the Lan family. However, Jingyu was framed and died. He was implicated and his star core was destroyed. He was almost a cripple. At the same time, the Lan family announced to the world that they had expelled Lan Shong from the Lan family in order to cut off all ties with him and avoid being implicated. But now, the Lan family had agreed to let Lan Ling marry Wu Fan. Why? Blue Merchant, this is the decision of the Lan family's higher-ups. You have no right to reject it. Lan Feng shouted. No right to reject. Ha ha ha, what a joke. The Lan family had already expelled me. I, Blue Merchant, am no longer a member of the Lan family. What right do you have to decide Lan Ling's life? Blue Merchant laughed. The Lan family expelled you, not Lan Ling. Lan Ling has the blood of the Lan family flowing in her body. The Lan family has the right to decide for her. You have to understand that Wu Fan is the only son of the Grand Tutor. The Grand Tutor is the Crown Prince's teacher, Lan Feng shouted. Blue Merchant sneered. Although the Lan family was a big family in the Great Void Sacred Capital and had a long history, they were still a distance away from the Grand Tutor. The Grand Tutor was not only powerful, but he was also the Crown Prince's teacher. He had great power. Wu Fan had taken a fancy to Lan Ling. The Lan family wanted to use the marriage between Lan Ling and the Grand Tutor to strengthen the Lan family's power. However, Blue Merchant had already been expelled from the Lan family. The Lan family's actions were shameless. Lan Ling is my daughter. She has nothing to do with the Lan family. She will never marry Wu Fan. Get lost. Blue Merchant's face became colder and colder. Blue Merchant, don't be stubborn, Lan Feng shouted. If you don't get lost, I will have to do it myself. A cold light flashed in Blue Merchant's eyes. His soul power continued to spread and suppressed Lan Feng. Chapter 3154. Although Blue Merchant's star core was destroyed, his soul power was still shockingly strong. Even a peak divine king would be suppressed, let alone Blue Maple. His enormous soul power was as heavy as a mountain and almost forced Blue Maple to kneel down. Blue Merchant, just you wait. Wu Fan won't be able to run away from the woman he has set his eyes on. Blue Maple roared furiously and rushed out of Blue Merchant's courtyard in a sorry state. He flew into the distance with an ugly expression. Blue Maple had not flown far when he saw a young man flying towards him. He was obviously flying towards Blue Merchant's courtyard. This young man was Lu Ming. Lu Ming had been cultivating for a while and felt that he had encountered a problem. Hence, he came here to seek advice from Blue Merchant and coincidentally bumped into Blue Maple. Seeing Lu Ming flying towards Blue Merchant's courtyard, Blue Maple glanced at Lu Ming coldly and killing intent flashed in his eyes. However, he did not make a move in the end. He passed by Lu Ming and flew into the distance. Who is this guy? I have never seen him before. This is the first time I have seen him and he actually showed killing intent towards me. He must be crazy. Lu Ming muttered and flew into Blue Merchant's courtyard. He saw Blue Mountain standing there with a gloomy expression. He was frowning and looked as if he had a lot on his mind. Uncle Lan Shu, what happened? Is it related to the young man I met just now? Lu Ming asked curiously. You met him just now? Blue Merchant asked. Yes, he even showed killing intent towards me, Lu Ming said. This person is indeed narrow-minded. He showed killing intent towards me and even towards people related to me, Blue Merchant said with a gloomy expression. After muttering to himself for a while, Blue Merchant continued, this person is called Blue Maple and he is from Great Void Sacred Capital's Lan family. Surnamed Lan? Lan family? Lu Ming's expression changed. You guessed right. This person is from the same family as me. However, he is no longer related to me. Blue Merchant sighed softly. He didn't hide anything and simply explained the situation. He told him everything about how he had been chased out of the Lan family and how the Lan family was going to marry Lan Ling to Wu Fan to form an alliance through marriage. How shameless. After hearing this, Lu Ming was also furious. He didn't feel uncomfortable because Lan Ling was going to marry Wu Fan. He actually wanted Lan Ling to marry someone else. He was just feeling indignant on behalf of Blue Merchant. After so many years of interaction, He had already silently regarded Blue Merchant as his teacher. Blue Maple is a very narrow-minded person. You should be careful when you're with Ling Er. If he finds out, it won't be good for you. Blue Merchant warned seriously. Lu Ming wailed. When am I going to get along with Lan Ling? Lu Ming was speechless. He wouldn't have a love rival for no reason, would he? That would be unfair. Forget it. Let's not talk about this first. Why are you looking for me? Blue Merchant changed the topic. Lu Ming immediately asked about his cultivation problems, and Blue Merchant began to guide him. After Lu Ming was enlightened, he returned to his residence to cultivate. In an elegant courtyard in the Heavenly King district, it was bustling with noise and excitement. There was a banquet being held here. The main character of the banquet was Blue Maple. Blue Maple was the prodigy of the Lan family in the Great Void Sacred Capital. His status was completely incomparable to the great families in the 9 Extinction Heavenly King residence. Naturally, there would be a bunch of young prodigies trying to curry favor with him. For example, the Jin family, the Qin family, the Winged Person family, the Sun family, and so on. This time, it was the prodigies of these families who invited Blue Maple. Blue Maple sat on the main seat, and the prodigies of the various great worlds sat on both sides. Brother Blue, your presence brings light to my humble dwelling. Come, let me propose a toast to Brother Basket. A prodigy of the Jin family raised his wine cup and drank it in one gulp. You're welcome. Blue Maple replied casually and raised his wine cup to take a sip. There was a hint of disdain in the depths of his eyes. He couldn't be bothered with these so-called prodigies of the 9 Extinction Heavenly King residence. In addition, he wasn't in a good mood because of Blue Merchant. Seeing that Blue Maple's attitude wasn't very enthusiastic, the crowd chatted casually. Oh yes, Brother Basket, are you here for the Divine Power Source Pearl? The prodigy of the Jin family suddenly spoke. Divine Power Source Pearl? Blue Maple was surprised. His eyes flashed as he said, could it be that the Divine Power Source Pearl appeared in the 9 Extinction Heavenly King residence? Brother Basket, you don't know? The prodigy of the Jin family purposely asked. He also knew that Blue Maple most likely didn't know about the Divine Power Source Pearl appearing in the 9 Extinction Heavenly King residence. He purposely asked just now, so naturally, he had his own plans. Could it be that the Divine Power Source Pearl really appeared? Tell me, what's going on? Blue Maple was suddenly energized. Brother Basket, the Divine Power Source Pearl did appear. Moreover, it's in the hands of a youth in the Starry Camp. The prodigy of the Jin family said. Who has it? Could it be that this person has obtained the Divine Power Source Pearl and has yet to refine it? Blue Merchant asked anxiously. The Divine Power Source Pearl was something that one could only come across by chance. Even in the great illusionary Saint Capital, it rarely appeared. He didn't expect to hear about the Divine Power Source Pearl when he came to the 9 Extinction Heavenly King residence. His eyes were burning with passion. He definitely hasn't refined it. That youth is called Lu Ming and is cultivating in the Starry Camp. The youth from the Jin family said confidently. That's right. The Divine Power Source Pearl must still be in the hands of Lu Ming. If Brother Basket wants it, you can snatch it away. A prodigy of the Winged Man family said. Snatch it away? Who do you think I am? Blue Maple's face darkened. I'm sorry. I said the wrong thing. Brother Blue, please don't take it to heart. The prodigy of the Winged Man family was shocked and quickly apologized. Blue Maple nodded and said, since that person called Lu Ming hasn't refined the Divine Power Source Pearl, he probably hasn't awakened his origin divine power factor. Hence, he can't use it. Let's buy the Divine Power Source Pearl. Blue 9, make a trip to the Starry Camp and find Lu Ming. Ask him to come and see me. Blue Maple instructed one of his subordinates. Yes, young master. A youth in blue stepped out and bowed to Blue Maple. Then, he turned into a ray of light and left. The eyes of the youth from the Jin family and the prodigy of the Winged Man family flickered. They didn't say anything and didn't remind Blue Maple. Not only had Lu Ming awakened his origin divine power factor, he had also awakened his origin secret technique. They wanted Lu Ming to become enemies with Blue Maple so that they could kill him with a borrowed knife. If they reminded Blue Maple, it wouldn't be easy to borrow the knife. In Lu Ming's residence, he was comprehending the sovereign's divine power. As he cultivated, his comprehension of the sovereign's divine power had deepened. He had a feeling that he wasn't far away from the second awakening. However, it wasn't that easy to awaken the sovereign's divine power a second awakening. He still needed some luck. Suddenly, Lu Ming opened his eyes. He had sensed an aura looming over his residence. Furthermore, the aura was brazen and malicious. Lu Ming frowned and walked out of his room. Autumn Moon also sensed the aura. She ended her cultivation and walked out of her room. The two exchanged glances and walked out of the residence. Outside the residence, a young man in blue robes stood in the air with his hands behind his back. He was looking down at Lu Ming with a lofty expression. He was Blue Maple's subordinate, Blue 9. Chapter 3155. Lan Ju stood in the sky with his hands behind his back. He looked down at Lu Ming and said coldly, "You're Lu Ming?" "That's right. Why are you looking for me?" Lu Ming said. "My young master is looking for you. Come with me." Lan Ju ordered and turned to leave. It was as if Lu Ming would follow him if he said so. However, Lu Ming stood there without moving and looked at Lan Ju as if he was looking at a fool. Lan Ju also noticed that Lu Ming did not move. He stopped and turned around. He frowned and said, "Why aren't you coming with me? Who are you? Are we close?" Lu Ming pursed his lips and was speechless. This guy was too confident. "Oh, indeed, I haven't introduced myself." Lan Ju smiled faintly and said, "My young master is the young master of the Lan family in the Great Void Sacred City. Lan Feng, the Lan family in the Great Void Sacred City is not something your 9 extinction Heavenly King residents can compare to. Do you understand? My young master is looking for you. Come with me." After saying that, Lan Ju turned around again. He then realized that Lu Ming still did not move. "Why aren't you leaving?" Lan Ju's face turned cold. "So, it's that Lan Feng. Why is he looking for me?" Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. "Lan family? I've never heard of it. Your young master is looking for me. Ask him to come and visit me. I won't see you off." Lu Ming waved his sleeve and asked him to leave. "What? Asking my young master to visit you? Kid, you're so arrogant. Who do you think you are?" Lan Ju's face changed drastically and he roared. "Get lost." Lu Ming shouted coldly. Ever since Lan Shong had told him about the Lan family, he already had a bad impression of the Lan family. Now that Lan Feng had actually told a servant to act all high and mighty in front of him, it would be strange if he had a good expression on his face. "You're courting death. If you don't go, I'll break your legs and bring you to my young master," Lan Ju roared. Then, his palms slashed out like blades. 2 beams of divine light slashed towards Lu Ming's legs. This Lan Ju had the cultivation base of the first sky of King God Realm. He was confident that this move could break Lu Ming's legs. "You're really asking for it." Lu Ming's eyes were cold. He didn't want to pay any attention to the other party, but since the other party wanted to court death, there was nothing he could do. His divine power condensed into a long spear. The long spear shook, and 2 spear lights burst out, crushing the divine light slashed by Lan Ju. Then, Lu Ming took a step forward and instantly approached Lan Ju. His spear light was like a mountain as it bombarded down. Lan Ju turned pale with fright. He never thought that Lu Ming, who was only in the 8th level of the Heaven God Realm, would be so strong. With a loud roar, a blue sword light rushed out from his body and slashed towards Lu Ming. However, although Lan Ju had divine-grade divine power, he hadn't awakened the divine origin factor. The difference between him and Lu Ming was too big. At this moment, Lu Ming had activated the battle character secret art. His spear light was as heavy as a mountain. It crushed down and bombarded the blue sword light. Boom! The sword light shook violently and then collapsed. The spear light hit Lan Ju. Lan Ju screamed and vomited blood. His body fell to the ground like a cannonball. Lu Ming took a step forward and stomped on one of Lan Ju's legs. Crack! Ah! The sound of bones breaking and Lan Ju's screams spread far and wide. Lu Ming crippled someone again. Now, who dares to provoke the devil, Lu Ming? You're courting death. The people in the other courtyards were alarmed. They all came out to watch. Seeing someone being tortured by Lu Ming, they gloated. Get lost. Lu Ming kicked Lan Ju again. Lan Ju's body flew out like a rubber ball. Autumn Moon, let's go in. Lu Ming smiled and walked into the courtyard with Autumn Moon. On the table in the courtyard, he brewed a pot of tea and slowly drank with Autumn Moon. He knew very well that someone else would be coming soon. In the Heavenly Monarch district, Lan Feng and the other heavenly prides were drinking wine while waiting. Suddenly, a figure flew over from afar. It was Lan Ju. At this moment, Lan Ju was in a sorry state. His clothes were tattered, his hair was disheveled, and his aura was weak. Lan Ju? What happened? Seeing Lan Ju in such a state, Lan Feng roared. A cold aura burst out from his body. In a mere 9 extinction Heavenly King residence, someone dared to beat up his subordinate. Even the 9 extinction Heavenly King had to give him face. Young master, you must seek justice for me. It's that Lu Ming. That Lu Ming beat me up. Lan Ju cried out miserably. Lu Ming? How dare he? Lan Feng shouted angrily. Yes, that Lu Ming is audacious. I have already reported young master's name and the Lan family's name, but he didn't take it seriously at all. He even said that if young master wants to see him, he should visit him personally. How arrogant! Lan Ju cried. He, I really didn't expect there to be such a hothead in the 9 extinction Heavenly King residence. Lan Feng sneered. His face was extremely cold, and his eyes were as cold as a knife. A junior in the 9 extinction Heavenly King residence actually asked him to visit him personally. He was so angry that he laughed. As expected, the Jin family and the Winged Man family's heavenly pride smiled. They were overjoyed. They knew Lu Ming's temper very well, so they didn't remind Lan Feng of Lu Ming's strength. They wanted to intensify the conflict between Lu Ming and Lan Feng. Brother Lan, this Lu Ming has always been lawless and audacious. The Jin family's heavenly pride said. HMPH, audacious? In front of me, Lan Feng, no matter how audacious he is, he has to shrink back. Didn't he ask me to visit him personally? Then I shall make a trip there. Lan Feng said coldly. He suddenly stood up and stepped into the air. As soon as Lan Feng moved, the subordinates that he brought naturally followed behind him. Let's go and take a look too. The Jin family's heavenly prides and the Winged Man family's heavenly prides smirked. They followed Lan Feng and headed towards the Starry Camp. When the Starry Camp's guardian elder saw Lan Feng, he didn't dare to stop them and let them in. Soon, they arrived outside Lu Ming's courtyard. A powerful aura pressed down on Lu Ming's courtyard. They are here. In the courtyard, Lu Ming muttered. He slowly picked up a cup of tea and took a sip. Let's go and meet them. Lu Ming smiled, got up, and walked out. Chiu Yu followed closely behind. There are so many people. Lu Ming glanced around and muttered. When his gaze swept across the Jin family's heavenly prides and the Winged Man family's heavenly prides, a cold light flashed in his eyes. Lan Feng's sudden visit probably had something to do with the Jin family, the Winged Man family and the Qin family. It's you. Lan Feng also recognized Lu Ming. You are Lu Ming. Lan Feng looked coldly at Lu Ming and asked. That's right. Why are you looking for me? Lu Ming said plainly. Did you injure one of my men? Lan Feng asked. What does it have to do with me if you're looking for a beating? Lu Ming replied with a cold smile. Chapter 3156. Lu Ming's attitude caused Lu Maple's killing intent to soar. Someone dared to speak to him in such a manner in the 9 extinction Heavenly King residence. Moreover, it was a young man. However, he was good at scheming. His killing intent soared and his expression remained unchanged. I didn't expect an 8th level heavenly god like you to defeat a divine king subordinate like me. What a rare sight. Lu Maple smiled faintly. His cultivation was high and Lu Ming did not deliberately conceal his cultivation. Hence, he could naturally see through Lu Ming's cultivation realm. After saying that, Lu Maple glanced at Lan Ju coldly. Lan Ju was actually defeated by an 8th-level heavenly god. This made him very unhappy. Lan Ju shuddered and his face turned pale. A chill ran down his spine. It's just SOSO. Your subordinate is useless, Lu Ming said casually. I heard that you have a divine power source pearl. Is that true? Lu Maple's tone suddenly changed. So, you're here for the divine power source pearl. TMPH, it's indeed the Jin family and Winged Man family. Are they trying to kill me with a borrowed knife? Lu Ming immediately guessed what had happened. It must be the Jin family and Winged Man family who told Lu Maple about it. Otherwise, how would Lu Maple know that he had the divine power source pearl? So what? Lu Ming said. I really do have it. Lu Maple's eyes were extremely bright and flashed with a blazing radiance. He had yet to awaken the origin source secret technique. If he had the divine power source pearl, he would definitely be able to awaken the origin source secret technique. With his original strength and the origin source secret technique, he was confident that he would be able to enter the top 10 on the day of the Great Void Imperial Family's Holy Court and obtain the qualification to establish his own family. He must get the divine power source pearl. Good, very good. Name a price. I'll buy the divine power source pearl, Lu Maple said. Not selling. Lu Ming rejected him directly. Not selling. You better think about it carefully. The price is negotiable. Also, if you sell the divine power source pearl to me, I'll write off the matter of you injuring my subordinate, Lu Maple said indifferently. However, even a fool could hear the threat in his tone. Not selling, don't you understand? Also, I want to cultivate. Don't disturb me here. Lu Ming waved his hand. How dare you? Brat, who do you think you are? The young master is giving you face by buying your stuff. Don't be so shameless. One of Lu Maple's subordinates stepped forward and shouted. A violent aura surged towards Lu Ming. This was also a young man, but his aura was violent and filled with an ancient and desolate aura. He was a genius who had awakened the god power origin. His cultivation base was at the first king god realm. The geniuses of the Jin clan and the Winged clan all revealed shocked expressions. One of Lu Maple's subordinates was actually so talented. The great aristocratic families of the Taishu holy capital indeed had deep and unfathomable foundations. What? You want to fight? Lu Ming said indifferently. Since you don't want face, I can only beat you down and take it myself, Lu Maple's subordinate said coldly. Blue 6, do it. Break his legs and take his storage ring, Lu Maple instructed. He was finally impatient and couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with Lu Ming. He wanted to attack directly. Don't worry, young master. Blue 6 accepted the order and then walked towards Lu Ming with a sinister smile. The geniuses of the Jin clan, the Winged clan, and the Qin clan looked at each other and still didn't warn Lu Maple. They knew that Lu Ming's combat strength was extremely terrifying. Even Yuan Yu wasn't a match for him, so Blue 6 definitely wouldn't be a match for him. However, they deliberately didn't warn him and let Lu Maple fight with Lu Ming. In this way, Lu Ming would offend Lu Maple. If he offended Lu Maple, Lu Ming would die. Young master, let me do it. At the side, Autumn Moon spoke and wanted to make a move. How can I let you deal with a few Tom, Dick, and Harry? Autumn Moon, watch from the side. Lu Ming smiled and stepped forward, releasing the aura of an 8th-level heavenly god. You're courting death. Blue 6 shouted coldly. Lu Ming actually said that he was a Tom, Dick, and Harry. He was courting death. Boom. Blue 6 aura was released completely and it was extremely shocking. Swoosh. Then, a blue sword light burst out from Blue 6's hand and blasted towards Lu Ming. Divine Dragon Image. Lu Ming punched out with both fists and 9 clawed dragons appeared in the sky. There were a total of 29 clawed dragons and they pounced towards Blue 6. At the same time, Lu Ming's body expanded rapidly and turned into a green-armored ancient god. His long spear was like a mountain and pressed towards Blue 6. Ancient God Body, green-armored ancient God Body. This kid, Blue Maple, was shocked when he saw Lu Ming display the green-armored ancient God Body. Never mind that Lu Ming had cultivated the ancient God Body. Unexpectedly, Lu Ming had cultivated the green-armored ancient God. This was extremely rare even in the Taishu sacred capital. No wonder he could defeat Lan Ju with his cultivation of level 8 heavenly god realm. Blue Maple thought. He thought that Lu Ming had turned into a green-armored ancient god to defeat Lan Ju. He didn't expect that Lu Ming had defeated Lan Ju without turning into a green-armored ancient god. The blue sword light slashed the 9-clawed dragon and there was a loud explosion. Blue 6 was strong. He was in level 1 divine king realm and he had awakened the origin divine power factor. His combat strength was very strong and the 9-clawed dragon was defeated one by one. However, when Lu Ming's long spear pressed down, he couldn't withstand it anymore. The sword light exploded and he was forced to retreat. Sword principle coalescence. Blue 6 roared when he saw that he was pushed back by Lu Ming. His sword light flashed as he displayed a terrifying secret skill. Countless sword shadows burst out as if they were going to tear the sky apart and slash towards Lu Ming. Moon slashing. Lu Ming murmured. He waved his long spear and a crescent-shaped spear light slashed out. Blue 6 sword light shattered wherever the spear light passed. He was pushed back and coughed up blood. To be honest, Blue 6 combat strength was very strong. He might even be stronger than Jin Xiong. However, Lu Ming could suppress Jin Xiong without using the ruler's gate when he was in level 7 heavenly god realm. Now that he had broken through to level 8 heavenly god realm, it wouldn't be too difficult for him to defeat Blue 6. This kid is so strong. How can he be so strong? At this moment, Blue Maple was also astonished. He came from Taishu sacred capital and he had seen many talented and abnormal people. However, he had never seen anyone as strong as Lu Ming. This kid must have some secrets. I must get them. Blue Maple's eyes were filled with greed. I'm going to kill you. Blue 6 was pushed back again and he was injured. He was completely enraged. He let out a roar and his body expanded rapidly. Then, he turned into a huge ancient god. Ancient god body. Lu Ming was shocked. He didn't expect Blue 6 to have cultivated the ancient god body. However, Blue 6 ancient god body was only a yellow-armored ancient god. It was golden like a golden statue. It was 2 levels lower than Lu Ming's green-armored ancient god body. However, Blue 6 strength had increased tremendously when he used the yellow-armored ancient god body. Bang! His huge body stepped into the air and he charged towards Lu Ming with a huge sword in his hand. Chapter 3157. Interesting. Lu Ming muttered. This was the first time he had seen someone use the ancient god body after leaving the Qin Tian starfield. He was quite interested and wanted to see the power of other people's ancient god bodies. Lu Ming did not use the gate of domination. Instead, he waved his spear and attacked. Boom! The 2 gigantic figures clashed together. The huge spear and the huge sword collided like planets colliding. There was a terrifying roar and energy overflowing. After a violent collision, a figure retreated continuously. The person who retreated was naturally Lan Liu. As for Lu Ming, he merely swayed a little. Lu Ming's body swayed and he immediately stepped forward. He waved his long spear and continued to attack Lan Liu. Lan Liu roared and attacked Lu Ming. The 2 fought fiercely, but Lan Liu was still no match. Although he had activated the ancient god body, he was still no match for Lu Ming in his current state. He was at a disadvantage. Every time they collided, Lan Liu had to take a few steps back. Lan Feng's face was particularly gloomy. Supernova, supernova. After exchanging more than 10 moves, Lu Ming continuously used the exploding stars move. Boom, boom. 2 consecutive supernova moves were blasted out. The destructive power completely enveloped Lan Liu. Blue 6 let out a blood-curdling scream as he retreated several tens of thousands of meters before stopping. The yellow scales on his body were in tatters. Numerous wounds had appeared on his body, and blood was flowing out of them. Blood kept flowing out of his mouth. Suddenly, Lan Liu's body trembled. His body quickly shrank and returned to its original form. Lan Liu was injured by Lu Ming and could not maintain the ancient god body form. This is your strength. The Lan family of the Taishu sacred capital is just like this. Lu Ming's indifferent voice sounded. Then, he swept his spear towards Lan Liu's legs. Lan Liu wanted to cripple his legs. Then, Lu Ming would cripple his legs. Stop! Lan Feng shouted. He finally could not help but attack. A sword light burst out from his hand and swept towards Lu Ming. Fast, unbelievably fast. Before the sword light arrived, the horrifying force caused Lu Ming's entire body to tense up, and he felt a stinging pain. Lu Ming quickly swept out his long spear, sweeping towards the sword light. Clang! The sword light slashed onto Lu Ming's spear, causing the spear to tremble violently. Lu Ming felt a terrifying sword chi rushing towards him, causing his huge body to explosively retreat. Lu Ming retreated several tens of thousands of meters before he could stabilize himself. Then, he felt piercing pain all over his body. Sword wounds appeared on the surface of his body. Green scales were cut open, and blood flowed out continuously. What terrifying power! Lu Ming was secretly shocked. Blue Maple's strength had exceeded his expectations. It was truly astonishing. Young master, are you all right? Seeing that Lu Ming was injured, Autumn Moon quickly flew to Lu Ming's side and asked with concern. It's fine. Lu Ming smiled. Young master, Lan Liu came to Blue Maple's side with an ugly expression. It's not your fault. This guy is monstrous. Looks like I have to deal with him personally. Blue Maple waved his hand and stepped out. Boom. When Blue Maple stepped out, a violent aura shot up to the sky, covering the sky and pressing down on Lu Ming. It made Lu Ming feel like he was facing a vast ocean. Lu Ming crazily circulated his divine power to resist. At the same time, Autumn Moon also shouted, and a powerful aura shot out, merging with Lu Ming's aura to resist the external pressure. Even so, the two of them were still pushed back a few thousand meters. What a powerful cultivation! His cultivation is at least in the third layer of the King God realm. He also has the origin divine power factor. It's definitely not a one-time awakening. Lu Ming's heart was in turmoil. He felt that Blue Maple's cultivation was immeasurable. He was at least in the third layer of the King God realm, or even higher. Moreover, Blue Maple's origin divine power factor had been awakened at least twice. Blue Maple didn't look old, but he had reached such a shocking level in all aspects. It was terrifying. Is this the genius of Taishu Holy Capital? Interesting, really interesting. I didn't expect 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion to have someone like you. How about this? You hand over the divine power source bead and swear on your life origin that you'll be loyal to me in the future. Bring her along and we'll forget about today's matter. Blue Maple said a few words, and finally looked at Autumn Moon. Autumn Moon's strength had exceeded his expectations. Moreover, Autumn Moon was so beautiful that it made Blue Maple's heart burn with passion. If you want to fight, then let's fight. Don't even think about the rest. Lu Ming said coldly. He continued to circulate his sovereign divine power, planning to open the sovereign's gate. At the same time, he kept on activating the battle character art, trying to increase his combat strength by 5 times. Even though he knew that he was no match for Blue Maple even if he used all his techniques, he still had to fight. You want to fight with me? You're overestimating yourself. Blue Maple's face was gloomy, and the aura on his body became even more terrifying. It formed rings of pressure that spread out in all directions. So strong, too strong. Behind him, the Jin family and the Winged Man family were terrified. They were shocked by Blue Maple's aura. Are we going to intervene? On the peak of the Star Peak, a few elders stood in the air, watching from afar. They had a panoramic view of the situation on Lu Ming's side. These elders were the elders who were guarding the starry camp. Intervene? How? He's the son of the Lan family leader in Taishu Holy Capital. There are many people in the Lan family who hold high positions in the Taishu dynasty. Even the Heavenly King has to give them face. How can we intervene? One of the elders said. That's true. With our status, we can't intervene. Forget it, let's just pretend that we didn't see anything. It's a pity for Lu Ming. Sigh. A few of the elders sighed. If the people from the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace dared to touch Lu Ming, they would immediately take action to suppress them. However, Blue Maple was from the Lan family, and they couldn't intervene. The strength of the Lan family was more terrifying than the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace. Looks like you've chosen to take action. Seeing that Lu Ming had no intention of surrendering, Blue Maple's eyes became colder. Let's do it, Lu Ming said. So what if he couldn't win? It was just a battle. Moreover, Lu Ming still had Qiu Qiu, and they might be able to fight. Then I'll kill you, Blue Maple said coldly. He took a step forward, and a sword radiance shot up to the sky, piercing through the clouds and slashing towards Lu Ming. Qiu Qiu, Lu Ming thought. Qiu Qiu quickly wriggled and turned into a set of armor, covering Lu Ming's body. Streaks of lightning spread out. However, at this moment, a vast force pressed down from the sky. This force was many times stronger than Blue Maple's strength. As it pressed down, Blue Maple's sword radiance was shattered. Blue Maple's body shook violently, and he retreated continuously. Chapter 3158. Uncle Lan Shu. Lu Ming's gaze flickered. When this pressure was released, Lu Ming could sense that it was Blue Merchant's aura. As expected, there was a flash of light in front of Lu Ming and Lan Shong's figure appeared. Blue Merchant, it's you. Blue Maple roared furiously when he saw Blue Merchant. Blue Maple, the Starry Camp isn't a place for you to behave atrociously. Leave. Blue Merchant was calm. He waved his sleeve and Blue Maple retreated rapidly. Blue Merchant, the Starry Camp has nothing to do with you. You're overstepping your boundaries. Blue Maple's face darkened. I don't care about other people's matters, but I have to care about his matters. Blue Merchant pointed at Lu Ming and said. What's his relationship with you? Blue Maple asked. Brother Lan, I heard that Lu Ming is Blue Merchant's son-in-law. The young man from the Jin family whispered to Blue Maple. What? He's your son-in-law? Lan Shong, how dare you? You actually betrothed Lan Ling to someone else. You've caused a huge disaster. Blue Maple roared furiously when he heard this. His eyes were about to spit fire. Wu Fan had his eyes on Lan Ling. This was a good opportunity for the Lan family to befriend the imperial tutor. But now, Lan Ling was going to marry someone else. He was furious. Die. This brat deserves to die. Blue Maple roared furiously. He unleashed his aura and charged towards Lu Ming. He wanted to kill Lu Ming. However, Blue Merchant's glabella shone. His spiritual power turned into a palm and pressed down on Blue Maple. Fart. Blue Maple spat out a mouthful of blood. He retreated rapidly and his face turned pale. Scram. I'll give you 3 breaths of time. If you don't scram, I'll cripple you and throw you out. Blue Merchant said coldly. His eyes flashed with cold killing intent. You. Blue Maple said one word before he couldn't say anything else. He revealed a look of fear on his face. He had heard about Blue Merchant's character from the elders of the Blue Merchant. He was the kind of person who kept his word. He had no doubt that if he didn't leave, Blue Merchant would really cripple him. A wise man knew better than to fight when the odds were against him. There were plenty of opportunities to kill Lu Ming. Brat, consider yourself lucky today. Blue Maple cast a cold glance at Lu Ming. After leaving behind a sentence, he turned around and left. Everyone else followed Blue Maple and slipped away. Soon, only Blue Merchant and Lu Ming were left. Sigh, I didn't expect you to be targeted by Blue Maple. You have to be careful in the future. Don't leave the Starry Camp for the time being, Blue Merchant warned. Lu Ming nodded. He was indeed no match for Blue Maple now, and there was no need for him to fight Blue Maple head-on. After Blue Merchant left, Lu Ming and Autumn Moon returned to their residence and continued to cultivate. Looks like there are more geniuses in the Taishu dynasty than I expected. They are stronger. Lu Ming thought silently. He had defeated the geniuses of the 9 Sabers Heavenly Palace and the 9 Extinction Heavenly Palace. He was getting more confident in himself. Moreover, he was improving rapidly in all aspects. He thought that it wouldn't be a problem for him to enter the top 10 on the day of the Taishu imperial family sacred courtyard. However, it seemed like he was too naive. Not to mention others, the 9 Extinction Heavenly Palace had many geniuses above the first layer of the Divine King realm that he had never seen before. Not to mention the geniuses in the other heavenly palaces and the core region of the Taishu dynasty. Putting the rest aside, Blue Maple alone gave Lu Ming an unfathomable feeling. One could imagine how many powerful geniuses there were in the core region of the Taishu dynasty. It would be difficult to enter the top 10 on the day of the Taishu imperial family sacred courtyard. He felt that the pressure on him was great. Lu Ming closed his eyes and cultivated quietly. A few days later, in a hall in the 9 Extinction Heavenly Palace, the 9 Extinction Heavenly King sat on the main seat. Below him was a young man, who was Blue Maple. "Young Master Lan, why are you looking for me?" The 9 Extinction Heavenly King asked with a smile. He knew Blue Maple well. He was the son of the Lan clan leader in the Taishu sacred courtyard. He was also the most talented person in the younger generation of the Lan clan. Although he was a heavenly king, there were differences in status between the heavenly kings. The 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace was ranked last among the 27 Heavenly King Palaces. His status was not much higher than the marquises of the marquises. Therefore, he was polite to Blue Maple. 9 Extinction Heavenly King, I want to enter the ghost region. Blue Maple took a sip of tea as he spoke slowly. The 9 Extinction Heavenly King was shocked and said, "What? You want to enter the ghost region?" "That's right." Blue Maple nodded. "No, there is a terrifying force residing in the ghost region. Therefore, the entrance of the ghost region has been sealed. If you want to enter the ghost region, you have to reopen the entrance. However, once the entrance is opened and the force of the ghost region rushes out, the consequences will be severe." The 9 Extinction Heavenly King shook his head. "It's just a ghost region that is attached to a world in the chaotic universe. How strong can it be? Can't the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace suppress it?" Blue Maple said. "It can be suppressed, but the risk is great. Moreover, young Master Lan Maple, you will be in danger if you enter the ghost region. Why do you want to take the risk?" The 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace tried to persuade him again. "I have something important to do in the ghost region. 9 Extinction Heavenly King, can you give me some face? My father also knows about this, and he also hopes that the 9 Extinction Heavenly King can help. Besides, you don't have to worry about my safety. I have brought many experts from the Lan clan with me. They are enough to deal with the danger," Blue Maple said. The 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace frowned and hesitated. However, Blue Maple had already said so. If he did not agree, he would offend Blue Maple and the Lan clan. It would be detrimental to the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace. Although he was a heavenly king, a big shot who oversaw a region, the Lan clan was in the center and had greater influence. If he offended the Lan clan master, he would not have a good ending. All right. However, young Master Lan must be careful when you enter the ghost region. If there is no need, don't disturb that force. The 9 Extinction Heavenly King warned seriously. Don't worry, Heavenly King. I will leave once I am done with my business. I will not disturb the force of the ghost region. Blue Maple smiled. A day later, Blue Maple led a group of experts from the Lan clan and the 9 Extinction Heavenly King led a group of experts from the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace. They landed on a star not far from the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace. This star was abnormally gloomy and eerie. On a huge plain, there were many huge stone tablets standing tall and upright. There were a total of 108 stone tablets standing in all directions of the plain. Each stone tablet was engraved with runes. The runes on the 108 stone tablets shone brightly and intertwined in the air, forming a huge formation that seemed to be suppressing something. Moreover, there was a group of experts guarding this place all year round. This was the entrance to the ghost region and it was sealed all year round. Chapter 3159. Open the entrance to Ghost's domain. 9 Extinction Heavenly King ordered. Yes. Suddenly, a group of people flew forward and stood in different positions. Then, their bodies were covered in divine light. Runes flew out from their hands and flew toward the stone tablets. Rumble. Suddenly, the stone steles started to vibrate, and a bright radiance started to emanate from them. Not long after, a pitch-black vortex suddenly appeared above the 108 stone steles. In the beginning, the area of the vortex was very small, but it quickly became bigger. Soon, the vortex became a 100,000 miles wide vortex suspended in the air. The vortex rotated slowly. Through the vortex, one could see the world behind the vortex. At the same time, a thick black mist was emitted from the vortex. The entrance to Ghost's domain was opened. Everyone immediately tensed up and prepared for battle. A long time ago, a powerful force was sealed in Ghost's domain. This force was called the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe, and its strength was amazing. They were afraid that the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe would attack once the entrance to Ghost's domain was opened. However, they waited for a few days and there was no movement at all. The Dark Ape Fighting Tribe has been sealed in Ghost's domain for countless years. They might have been weakened and extinct. Lou Maple smiled gently. Young Master Lan, it's best not to let your guard down. 9 Extinction Heavenly King warned. Young Master, I'll go in and check it out first. Beside Lou Maple, an old man in a grey robe stepped forward and cupped his fist. The old man's aura was deep and his eyes were as bright as the stars. His body faintly exuded a terrifying aura. Divine Lord. 9 Extinction Heavenly King's eyes moved. This old man was absolutely Divine Lord Realm Cultivation. All right, I'll have to trouble you, Elder. Lou Maple nodded. The old man in a grey robe rushed into the vortex in a flash and disappeared. Not long after, a figure flashed from the whirlpool. The grey-robed old man had returned. Elder, how is it? Is there any danger inside? Did you find the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe? Lou Maple quickly asked. I've checked the area around the entrance and did not find any danger. I also did not find any traces of the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe. The old man in a grey robe said. That's good. Let's go in. Lou Maple said and led the experts of the Lan family into the vortex and disappeared. All of you, stay here and guard this place. If anything happens, inform me immediately. After Blue Maple and the others entered the Ghost's domain, the 9 Extinction Heavenly King ordered his subordinates. Yes. Everyone bowed and saluted. The 9 Extinction Heavenly King's figure flashed and left the place. Half a month passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, the whirlpool at the entrance of the Ghost's domain suddenly trembled slightly. Something's coming out, watch out. An expert from the 9 Extinction Heavenly King mansion roared. Everyone immediately perked up and stared at the entrance of the Ghost's domain. After a while, some figures appeared. It's Sir Blue Maple and the others. Someone called out. That's right, these figures were Blue Maple and the others. Not long after, Blue Maple and everyone from the Lan family appeared. However, compared to when they first entered, the number of people had decreased by half. Furthermore, the remaining people were all in an extremely sorry state. Some of them even had extremely weak auras. It was clear that a great battle had taken place in the Ghost's domain. Damn it, Blue Maple kept growling, and his expression was extremely gloomy. Young Master Lan, what happened? The expert from the 9 Extinction Heavenly King mansion asked. We were attacked inside. I want to see the 9 Extinction Heavenly King, Blue Maple said. Not long after, Blue Maple met the 9 Extinction Heavenly King. What? You want to borrow a group of experts from me to enter the Ghost's domain? The 9 Extinction Heavenly King frowned. Yes, I didn't get what I wanted in the Ghost's domain this time, so I want to enter again. Blue Maple said. Young Master Lan, since it's so dangerous in the Ghost's domain, I think we should forget about it. The 9 Extinction Heavenly King said. No, we must succeed. Previously, when we entered, we didn't understand the terrain of the Ghost's domain and didn't prepare well. That was why we suffered a great loss. Moreover, we didn't encounter the legendary Dark Ape Fighting Tribe. This time, As long as you lend me a group of experts and make sufficient preparations, I can guarantee that nothing will go wrong, Blue Maple said. This, the Nine Extinction Heavenly King pondered. Heavenly King, as long as you help me this time, I, Blue Maple, and my father will definitely thank you and remember this favor, Blue Maple said. The Nine Extinction Heavenly King thought for a while and finally agreed. Heavenly King, I also want to borrow some young supreme talents from you, Blue Maple said again. Young supreme talents? What's the use of them if their cultivation isn't high? The Nine Extinction Heavenly King was puzzled. There's a formation inside and only young people can enter, Blue Maple explained. All right, sure. The Nine Extinction Heavenly King agreed readily. The others can be chosen by you, but there's one person who must go with me. It's a young man called Lu Ming, Blue Maple said again. Lu Ming. The Nine Extinction Heavenly King frowned again. This person is very talented and will be of great help to me. Don't worry, Heavenly King, I promise that I won't let anything happen to these supreme talent, Blue Maple said. In the end, the Nine Extinction Heavenly King residents nodded and began to dispatch experts. Blue Maple and his men also began to make preparations to refine some special weapons and formation plates. Not long after, an expert from the Nine Extinction Heavenly King residence headed towards Lu Ming's residence. However, he didn't find Lu Ming at Lu Ming's residence. I heard that Lu Ming often goes to Blue Merchant's place to cultivate. Perhaps he's at Blue Merchant's place, the person muttered and then headed towards Blue Merchant's residence. As expected, he found Lu Ming at Blue Merchant's residence. Lu Ming, the Starry Camp has assigned you a mission. You are to follow the Lan family head's men into Ghost's region and assist the Lan family in completing a mission, the expert from the Nine Extinction Heavenly King residence said. What? I'm going with the Lan family? Lu Ming frowned. That's right. This is the dispatch token. We'll set off in a month's time. After the expert from the Nine Extinction Heavenly King residence finished speaking, he waved his hand and a token flew towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming reached out and caught it. After seeing Lu Ming catch the token, the expert from the Nine Extinction Heavenly King residence turned and left. Lu Ming frowned. This matter is definitely not as simple as it seems. Blue Merchant also walked over and said, It seems like Blue Maple wants to take the opportunity to deal with me, Lu Ming said coldly. What a brilliant move. He's using the Starry Camp to assign you a mission. If you don't go, you'll be violating the rules of the Starry Camp. He'll probably pressure you to leave the Starry Camp. If you go, I'm afraid he'll take the opportunity to deal with you, Blue Merchant said. I'll just not go. Let's see what he's capable of, Lu Ming said. No, I have a suggestion. You might be able to go, Blue Merchant said. I can go. Why? Lu Ming was puzzled. If he went, wouldn't he be giving Blue Maple a chance to deal with him? Blue Merchant shouldn't push him into the fire pit. Chapter 3160. That person asked you to enter the Ghost's domain with Blue Maple and the rest, right? Blue Merchant said. That's right. Lu Ming nodded. Entering the Ghost's domain might be an opportunity for you. Blue Merchant's eyes flashed. Is this an opportunity for me? Lu Ming was even more confused. That's right. Do you know why I chose to live in seclusion in the Nine Extinction Heavenly King residence? Part of the reason is because of the Ghost's domain, Blue Merchant said. Because of the Ghost's domain? Why? Lu Ming was even more curious now. Because there's a force living in the Ghost's domain. This force is called the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe. This force is extremely powerful. Most importantly, the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe was subdued by Jingyu back then. It's because of Jingyu's subordinates, Blue Merchant said. There's such a thing. Lu Ming was shocked. There was a powerful force in the Ghost's domain that was actually Jingyu's subordinate. That's right. However, not many people know about this. When Jingyu died, the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe voluntarily retreated to the Ghost's domain. The Taishu dynasty was also afraid of this force. That's why they sealed the entrance of the Ghost's domain. The reason why I'm living in seclusion here is to find a chance to enter the ghost's domain and reclaim this force. However, the entrance of the ghost's domain has always been guarded and sealed. I can't enter at all. This time, Blue Maple wants to open the seal and enter the ghost's domain. He also wants you to come along. This is your chance to subdue the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe, Blue Merchant said. According to what you said, the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe is extremely powerful. With my cultivation, I won't be able to subdue them even if I enter, Lu Ming said. No, the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe is very obedient to Jingyu. As long as you show them the origin ancient word battle and reveal your identity as Jingyu's successor, the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe will unconditionally submit to you. With the support of this force, it will be very important for your future development, Blue Merchant said. If I follow Blue Maple in, I'll be killed the moment I enter. What should I do? Lu Ming said. It wasn't that he was afraid of death, but wasn't it stupid to go there knowing that he was going to die? Based on my understanding of Blue Maple, he cares a lot about his reputation. Furthermore, there are likely to be others with him this time. Blue Maple definitely won't kill you in front of others. That would be embarrassing. Therefore, he will find an opportunity to kill you in a secluded place. This is your chance. You can find a chance to escape and find the Dark Ape Battle Tribe. Of course, there's still danger. I'm just suggesting it. Whether you do it or not, the decision is in your hand. Blue Merchant said. Alright, I'm going. Lu Ming said. If he didn't go, he would definitely be targeted by Blue Maple. When that happened, he would be forced to leave the Starry Camp. He wouldn't even have the right to participate in the Great Void Imperial Academy. He might as well give it a try. If he could capture the Dark Ape Battle Tribe, it would definitely be a great help to him in the future. Going to the core of the Taishu dynasty to reverse the verdict for Jingyu would definitely be dangerous. If he didn't dare to take this risk, how could he succeed? Alright, then get ready. We'll set off in a month's time, Blue Merchant said. Soon, a month had passed. Someone led Lu Ming and the others to a place in the Heavenly King district. There are quite a number of other sky prides. Looks like quite a number of people have entered. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The more people who entered, the more chances he would have to escape. Whoosh, whoosh. Streaks of rainbow light flew over from the sky. It was Blue Maple and the experts of the Lan family head. There was also a group of experts from the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace. So many experts. Lu Ming was shocked. Among the group of people that Blue Maple brought with him, each of them had a strong and unfathomable aura. For Lu Ming, they were truly unfathomable. He couldn't figure out their depth at all. Blue Merchant speculated that Blue Maple must have brought some divine lords with him. Hence, he warned Lu Ming not to act rashly if he didn't find a good opportunity. Blue Maple stood in the middle of the crowd with his hands behind his back. When his gaze swept across Lu Ming, a cold murderous intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. Let's go. Blue Maple gave the order and took the lead to soar into the sky. They left the area of the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace and crossed the starry sky. After some time, they arrived at the planet at the entrance of the Ghost region. That vortex was still suspended in the air, rotating slowly. Whoosh, whoosh. Blue Maple's subordinates were the first to charge into the whirlpool. Then, Blue Maple, Lu Ming, and the others rushed into the vortex one after another. Heaven and earth changed, and Lu Ming found that they had arrived on a plain. Lu Ming looked around. Between heaven and earth, there was a dark red color. Even the sky was the same. Above the vast plain, there was a black fog floating. That was Ghost Chi. Some of you open up the path in front, some of you guard the back. The younger generation, follow me to guard the center. Blue Maple's voice spread throughout the place. Figures flashed, and everyone got into formation. The younger generation's cultivation was lower, and they were surrounded by many experts. Lu Ming was naturally in the middle too. Blue Maple swept a cold glance at Lu Ming. Sure enough, he did not make a move. Instead, he gave the order, let's go. Everyone rose into the air and flew towards the front of the plane. In the beginning, their speed was very fast, and they did not encounter any danger. Slow down. When they were about to leave the plain and arrive at a hill, the old man at the front spoke. Everyone's speed slowed down. Slowly, they flew towards the hill. Ah ah ah. Ga ga ga. Suddenly, a series of strange cries sounded, like the wailing of ghosts and howling of wolves. Then, those hills were filled with dense fog, and countless black shadows flew out from those hills. These black shadows were constantly twisting, and there seemed to be ghosts within them. It was extremely terrifying. These black shadows pounced towards the crowd with strange cries. However, Blue Maple and the others were clearly prepared. Activate the formation disc. At the front, a grey-robed old man roared. Suddenly, the bodies of the experts in front glowed, and pieces of formation discs flew out from their bodies. Once these formation discs flew out, endless flames burst forth. These flames were purplish-red, and the temperature was shockingly high. They enveloped these black shadows. Sizzle sizzle, these black shadows seemed to be very afraid of the flames. When they were enveloped by the flames, they let out sizzling sounds and strange screams. Then, the black shadows turned into ashes in the flames and disappeared between heaven and earth. Obviously, Blue Maple and the others had learned from their previous experience. There seemed to be a lot of black shadows in the hills, and they kept coming out endlessly. Charge over. Blue Maple roared. Set up the formation and charge over, the grey-robed elder shouted. Suddenly, the experts around them took out their formation discs. Waves of flames surrounded everyone in the middle, and then they quickly charged forward. Soon, they went deep into the hills. Chapter 3161. After they entered the hilly area, countless black shadows emerged from the surrounding hills and charged towards them. There was an endless number of them, and all of them were extremely crazy. No wonder Blue Maple and the rest suffered heavy losses the last time they entered. If they were not prepared, they would not have been able to withstand it. However, it was different now. When those black shadows collided with the flames, they melted like snow and turned into black smoke and dissipated. They were extremely fast and kept charging forward. After an hour, they finally charged out of the hilly area. After charging out of the hilly area, the black shadows around them disappeared without a trace. As for them, they did not suffer any losses. Huff huff huff, everyone heaved a sigh of relief and continued flying forward. However, after flying for some distance, a swamp appeared in front of them. This swamp was boundless and was filled with a rotten smell. Even from a distance, they could smell a foul stench. Be careful. The grey-robed elder in front reminded them. They slowed down and flew towards the swamp slowly. Whoosh! As soon as they flew into the swamp area, the swamp began to churn and skeletons began to appear one after another. The skeletons charged out of the swamp and brandished their weapons as they charged towards the group. Bring out the array disc. The grey-robed elder continued to give orders. Everyone waved their hands and array discs flew out one after another. However, this array disc was different from the previous one. This time, it did not emit flames but lightning. Buzz buzz buzz. Many array discs lit up and the light intersected to form a huge bolt of lightning. The lightning bolts streaked across the sky and blasted towards the skeletons. Obviously, these skeletons were afraid of lightning. After being struck by the lightning, they scattered and fell into the swamp. They charged into the depths of the swamp, but there were skeletons rushing out of the swamp continuously. It was not just skeletons. There were also zombies rushing out. These zombies were stinky, but their aura was very oppressive and their strength was shocking. Holy light array disc. The grey-robed elder roared again. Buzz buzz buzz. Another array disc flew into the air. This time, these array discs emitted holy light. The milky white holy light was like the sun and filled the air with endless radiance. Those zombies were illuminated by the holy light and their bodies emitted black smoke. After a while, they completely turned into black smoke and dissipated. Countless skeletons and rotting corpses were killed by lightning and holy light. They rushed forward very quickly. However, the swamp was full of danger. There were a lot of zombies and skeletons. Apart from the zombies and skeletons, there were other types of ghosts as well. Countless ghosts charged towards them. Some of them even managed to break through the array disc's attack and charged towards the crowd. Kill. The surrounding experts also made their moves. This time, Blue Maple had brought some experts from the Land family and the 9-Jew Heavenly King Palace. They were all extremely strong. All of them were above the 4th layer of the King God realm. Many of them were above the 7th layer of the King God realm. There were even quite a few Divine Lord realm characters. With so many powerhouses attacking together, the ghosts that slipped through the net were all killed. Gar gar gar. Suddenly, a series of unpleasant and ear-piercing screams rang out. The swamp churned, and a terrifying aura erupted. Boom! A swamp exploded as the figure of an enormous creature appeared. It was a strange bird. It was as big as a mountain, but its body was rotten and emitted a strong stench. Its eyes were blood red. It screeched a few times and charged towards the crowd. This aura, a peak divine king, Lu Ming was shocked. This aura was extremely terrifying. It was similar to the Jin family and the Winged Man family's family head. It was a peak divine king. Roar. After the giant bird appeared, another figure charged out from another direction. It was a skeleton. The skeleton was wearing a battle armor. The presence that erupted from the skeleton was extremely shocking as well. It was a peak god king. Suddenly, 2 peak divine kings appeared and charged towards the crowd. Some of the young sky prides turned pale. They were unable to withstand a single blow from such existences. However, Blue Maple's expression was calm. Kill. The grey-robed elder at the front took a step forward and slashed out with his palm. A grey sword light slashed towards the giant bird. Poochie. Under the slash of the sword light, the giant bird was unable to withstand a single blow and was split into 2. Its corpse fell into the swamp, splashing mud all over the sky. After killing the giant bird, the sword light turned and slashed towards the skeleton. The skeleton was wearing battle armor and holding a battle saber. It slashed out a shocking saber light. However, the saber light and the sword light collided and collapsed. The sword light slashed the skeleton's body. Under the destructive power of the sword light, the skeleton's body collapsed and turned into a pile of powder. 2 peak divine kings were killed in an instant. The might of a divine lord was terrifying. Is this the strength of a divine lord? How terrifying. Some of the young sky prides were stunned as it was their first time seeing a divine lord in action. A peak divine king was strong enough. However, they were unable to withstand a single blow from a divine lord. The higher one's cultivation realm, the greater the gap. Especially the gap between major realms, it was a world of difference. One day, I must step into the divine lord realm. Many young sky prides clenched their fists and secretly swore to step into the divine lord realm. However, the majority of the people were destined to be disappointed. How could the divine lord realm be so easy to step into? Even if many of these people's talents were astonishing, it was destined that the majority of the people could only stay in the divine king realm. Otherwise, there would not be so few divine lords. The various major worlds of the 9 absolute heavenly king manor had inheritances for countless years, giving birth to many sky prides. But divine lord realm characters were scanty few and far between. Continue setting off. After the grey-robed old man slew 2 peak divine king existences, he issued the order. Everyone continued charging. Finally, after a period of time, they rushed out of the swamp. However, the destination that Blue Maple wanted to go to was clearly not here. It was still very far away. They continued setting off. Following that, they passed through several dangerous places again. In one of the dangerous places, there was even a terrifying divine lord realm ghost that appeared, erupting into a great battle with the divine lords that Blue Maple brought. That battle was heaven-shaking and earth-shaking. However, the divine lords that followed Blue Maple here were not just one. In the end, 2 divine lords joined hands and finally repelled that divine lord realm ghost. But this battle made the people that Blue Maple brought finally show losses. Over a dozen people perished in that battle. This was already considered good. They were prepared this time. The last time Blue Maple brought people in, they were not prepared and suffered heavy losses. After passing through several dangerous places in a row, they stopped in a vast expanse of land. The territory ahead was suffused with thick black fog, obstructing their line of sight. According to what Blue Maple said, the last time, they stopped here. Chapter 3162. Previously, Blue Maple had already explained the characteristics of this black fog area to them. This area should be enveloped by a huge formation. Inside, it was difficult to distinguish directions. Naturally, it would be difficult to pass through this area. Blue Maple also brought a formation master over. Through the formation master's research, if they wanted to pass through this area, they could only close the formation of this area. The formation master studied that this formation should have 6 formation eyes. Only by using runes to seal the 6 formation eyes at the same time could they temporarily seal this formation. Once this formation was sealed, they could pass through this area. However, the 6 formation eyes had to be sealed at the same time. The time difference could not be more than a minute. Originally, with the experts that Blue Maple brought last time, it was very easy to do this. However, there was a terrifying ghost living underground in this area. The strength of this ghost was shockingly strong. It was at least divine Lord Realm combat power. As long as living beings above a certain age entered, it would attract the living beings living underground to attack. However, if it was the younger generation who entered, it would not attract this kind of living beings. Last time, Blue Maple and the rest suffered the greatest loss here. Many experts died here. They also fled in a sorry state. Therefore, this time, he borrowed some young prodigies from 9 Extinction Heavenly King to break this formation. The young prodigies entered and found the 6 formation eyes respectively. Then, they would communicate with each other and seal the formation eyes at the same time. All of you, go in with me. Blue Maple looked at all the young prodigies present. All right. Everyone nodded. With Blue Maple taking the lead, everyone rushed forward and came to the edge of the black fog area. Blue Maple himself and the Lan family prodigies that he brought along, together with the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion's prodigies, there were about 100 people. Lu Ming was naturally among them. He felt a cold aura sweeping past him from time to time. Looks like they are going to make a move here. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Entering this area, there was black fog everywhere. Everyone's vision was blocked. Lu Ming guessed that Blue Maple would kill him here and seize the divine power source bead on him. Lu Ming, follow me. Sure enough, Blue Maple looked at Lu Ming and said, "No problem." Lu Ming did not seem to notice the danger and nodded casually. "Let's go." Blue Maple spoke. He was the first to charge into the black fog, and the rest followed suit. As soon as they rushed into the black fog, they felt dizzy. When they looked back, they could no longer see the experts outside. They had already entered the range of the formation. Let's split up into 6 groups and search for the 6 formation cores. Once we find them, we'll notify them through the communication Jade Talisman and seal the 6 formation cores at the same time, Blue Maple said. Everyone nodded, and then automatically split into groups. There were more prodigies in the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion and they were divided into 4 groups. The young geniuses of the Lan family were divided into 2 groups. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. With a flash, all the Sky Prides dashed off in different directions, disappearing into the black fog in the blink of an eye. At the scene, only Lan Feng's group was left. Of course, there was also Lu Ming. There were a total of 10 people. What's that? At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly looked behind Blue Maple with a terrified expression on his face. Blue Maple and the others were shocked. They hurriedly looked behind them and prepared for a huge battle. However, when they turned around, they realized that there was nothing behind them. Oh no, we've been tricked. A thought popped up in Blue Maple's mind. He hurriedly turned around and saw Lu Ming's figure dashing off in a direction like a bolt of lightning. Damn it, he wants to leave. Chase after him and kill him, Blue Maple shouted angrily. Just now, after the others left, Blue Maple was preparing to deal with Lu Ming. However, he didn't expect Lu Ming to make a move before him. While he was distracted, he managed to escape. Blue Maple led the 8 Sky Prides of the Lan family and chased after Lu Ming. Blue Maple, I knew you were up to no good. Seeing Blue Maple chasing after him, Lu Ming spoke coldly. Stop right there. Hand over the divine power source bead and pledge your loyalty to me from now on. Then, I can spare your life. Blue Maple shouted angrily. Are you daydreaming? Lu Ming mocked. At the same time, he executed the Nine Heavens Kuan Peng technique to the maximum and dashed forward. Do you think you can escape? Blue Maple's voice was cold. He turned into a ray of sword light and broke through the black fog. His speed was shocking. He was even faster than Lu Ming. He left the other 8 Sky Prides of the Lan family far behind. However, Lu Ming had moved early. It wasn't that easy for Blue Maple to catch up with Lu Ming. One chased while the other fled. In the blink of an eye, they were hundreds of thousands of miles away. You can't escape. When I catch you, I'll make sure you die without a burial ground. Blue Maple's voice was extremely cold. His eyes were ferocious. Lu Ming couldn't be bothered with Blue Maple. He continued to move forward with all his might. However, in the next moment, Lu Ming's expression changed drastically. This was because a group of people had appeared in front of him. There were more than 10 of them, and they were charging towards him. This group of people was also the Sky Prides of the Lan family. The Lan family had been divided into 2 groups. The other group had already left before Lu Ming made his move. Apparently, Blue Maple had sent a message to these people when they were chasing. That was why they had appeared in front of Lu Ming to intercept him. Among the Sky Prides of the Lan family, there were some who were extremely powerful. Their cultivation was at least in the first heaven of the Divine King realm. Powerful auras surged towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming, let's see how you can escape. Blue Maple's face was ferocious. Swoosh swoosh swoosh, in front of him, more than 10 Sky Prides slashed out more than 10 rays of sword light towards Lu Ming. Is that so? There was a cold smile at the corners of Lu Ming's lips. Bolts of lightning suddenly appeared on his fists. It was Chocho's turn. Although Chocho's cultivation was high, it wasn't old. It belonged to the younger generation. Naturally, it could enter this place. Bolts of lightning shot out towards the Sky Prides. In an instant, more than 10 rays of sword light were shattered. The lightning struck the Sky Prides. Blood-curdling screams were heard. At least half of the Sky Prides were killed by the lightning. The other half were sent flying. Their bodies were charred black and their auras were weak. With Chocho's current strength, it could even kill a 4th heaven of the Divine King realm cultivator, let alone these young Sky Prides. Although these young Sky Prides were stronger than their peers, their cultivation wasn't high. How could they block Chocho's attack? I'm going to kill you. Seeing half of the Sky Prides being killed, Blue Maple's eyes turned red. He let out a furious roar. Clang! A terrifying ray of sword light shot out from his glabella. It slashed towards Lu Ming at a frightening speed. Although Lu Ming had killed more than 10 Sky Prides of the Lan family, his speed had been slowed down. This allowed Blue Maple to get closer to him. Therefore, this slash enveloped Lu Ming in a vast sword aura. Blue Maple's furious attack was terrifying. With Lu Ming's current strength, he couldn't block it. He could only rely on Chocho. Chocho wriggled rapidly. It turned into an armor and covered Lu Ming. Chapter 3163. Chocho turned into a suit of armor and covered Lu Ming. At the same time, lightning filled the armor. Countless tiny lightning bolts gathered together and turned into a thick lightning bolt that shot towards Blue Maple's sword light. Boom! The lightning bolt and the sword light collided. Both of them shook violently, but it was obvious that the sword light was stronger. The sword light shone brightly, and the lightning bolt was pushed back. After a few explosions, the lightning bolt collapsed and the remaining sword light slashed towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming felt a terrifying force crushing towards him. It was incomparably sharp. His body shook violently, and he was sent flying like a cannonball, leaving a long ditch in the ground. Waves of piercing pain spread throughout his body. Lu Ming felt as if all his bones were about to break. Even Chocho's armor had a crack in it. What a terrifying force! Lu Ming was shocked. Cho was now in the third layer of the king god realm. Its fighting strength was even stronger, and it could kill a fourth layer king god realm existence. However, Cho was no match for Blue Maple in the previous attack. Even when it turned into armor, Blue Maple had broken it. Fortunately, Cho had turned into armor and blocked the opponent's attack. Otherwise, Lu Ming would have died. Metallic life form? TMPH, you think a metallic life form in the third layer of the king god realm can stop me? Kill. Blue Maple shouted. His body was like a sword light. In a flash, he charged towards Lu Ming and slashed his sword. The sword light was vast and mighty, and its pressure spread out in all directions. The black fog around them churned violently, and a terrifying whistling sound was heard. Needless to say, its power was astonishing. Gate of Domination, Lu Ming roared. His god power surged, and the Gate of Domination appeared above his head. The ancient Gate of Domination exuded an ancient and desolate aura as it collided with the sword light. At the same time, Cho displayed its might once again. Boundless lightning condensed into a long spear that shot towards Blue Maple. Boom! The sword light bore the brunt of the attack and slashed at the Gate of Domination. The Sovereign's Gate trembled violently, then exploded. This was within Lu Ming's expectations. Even though the Gate of Domination was an origin secret technique and was extremely powerful, Lu Ming's cultivation was still too low. The difference between him and Blue Maple was too great, and he definitely wouldn't be able to block Blue Maple's attack. Then, the lightning spear collided with the sword light. This time, it was blocked by the Lord's Gate. Then, it was struck by the lightning spear. The sword light's power was greatly reduced. The remaining power hit Lu Ming. Although Lu Ming was sent flying, Lu Ming wasn't injured. Origin secret technique. You've actually comprehended an origin secret technique. Blue Maple recognized Lu Ming's origin secret technique and shouted in shock. Then, Blue Maple's eyes widened, and he revealed a frenzied killing intent. He roared, "You ate the divine power source pearl. Damn it, you trash ate the divine power source pearl. You're wasting it. How can the divine power source pearl be wasted on trash like you? Ah, I'm going to kill you." Blue Maple screamed hysterically. His eyes were red, and he revealed a look of jealousy. In his opinion, Lu Ming definitely didn't rely on himself to awaken an origin secret technique. He must have eaten the divine power source pearl. In his heart, a treasure like the divine power source pearl should be used by him. If it was eaten by Lu Ming, it would be a waste. At this moment, his killing intent towards Lu Ming was at its peak. When he thought about how the divine power source pearl that could help him awaken an origin secret technique was gone, he was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Kill! 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 Blue Maple roared. Sword light soared into the sky. Terrifying sword light slashed towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming executed the Nine Heavens Garuda technique and rushed forward. As he rushed forward, he used his techniques to block Blue Maple's attack. However, the difference in strength between Lu Ming and Blue Maple was too great. Even with Cho, there was still a large gap. He was no match for Blue Maple at all. He couldn't even escape. In less than 5 minutes, Lu Ming received 6 sword lights from Blue Maple. Even with Cho's protection, Lu Ming was almost split in half. 2 sword wounds appeared on his body. The terrifying destruction sword intent constantly drilled into the depths of his body, causing Lu Ming to vomit blood. He was severely injured. What should I do? If this goes on, I'll die in his hands sooner or later. Lu Ming's mind spun rapidly as he thought of a countermeasure. Kid, you can only take the risk now. Bone Demon's voice rang in his mind. Bone Demon, do you have any ideas? Lu Ming asked. There are terrifying existences living underground in this region. As long as you take the risk and lure them out, you can escape from danger. With your aura, you can't attract them. Therefore, I have to release a trace of my aura to attract them, Bone Demon explained. Alright, let's take the risk then. Lu Ming gritted his teeth. Be careful. If there are any strange movements later, run quickly. Bone Demon cautioned cautiously before releasing a trace of his aura. Bone Demon was an old monster who had lived for countless years. As soon as he released a trace of his aura, the terrifying existences underground sensed it. Boom! Deep underground, an incomparably terrifying aura suddenly permeated the air. It was just a trace of his aura, but Lu Ming felt as if countless mountains were pressing down on him. He almost knelt down directly. Blue Maple's expression changed drastically. Damn it, why are the existences underground alarmed? Run, run! Blue Maple was almost frightened to death. He couldn't be bothered to continue chasing Lu Ming. He screamed and jumped dozens of meters high. He turned around and fled. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared without a trace. It was no wonder that Blue Maple was frightened to death. The existences underground were too terrifying. They were at least in the Divine Lord realm. If they appeared, they could blow him to death in one breath. It would be strange if he didn't run. Go quickly. At this moment, Bone Demon also roared and quickly retracted his aura. As for Lu Ming, he pushed his speed to the limit and ran forward. Deep underground, there seemed to be a spiritual sense spreading out and sweeping across Lu Ming and Blue Maple. Both of their bodies tensed up, and cold sweat broke out all over their bodies. Fortunately, the spiritual sense seemed to have ignored them. After sweeping around, it retracted. The terrifying aura underground also retracted and disappeared. Phew, Lu Ming breathed heavily. It was too terrifying just now. Lu Ming's heart almost jumped to his throat. If that existence really crawled out, Lu Ming would definitely die. At this moment, he relaxed and suddenly felt cold sweat all over his body. Finally got rid of that guy, Lu Ming whispered. Then, he exerted all his strength and ran forward. This area was enveloped by a large array. Lu Ming didn't know how far he had run, but he was still in the array. He was surrounded by black fog, and it was difficult to get out. Let's wait, Lu Ming muttered. Then, he found a place to sit down and began to operate the Universe Myriad Dao art to heal his injuries. Previously, when he fought with Blue Maple, his injuries were still quite serious. If he didn't heal in time, it would have a great impact on his foundation. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.